You love your dog, you feed them every day, you treat them like family, but what if the food you're giving them right now is slowly destroying them from the inside? Not some random fruit, not some exotic ingredient. I'm talking about the everyday foods sitting in your kitchen right now. The ones you toss to your dog without thinking twice. Today, I'm going to show you 7 foods that are genuinely hurting your dog. Foods that real owners give every single day, and most of them have no idea. Stay until the end, because number 1 is something almost every dog owner does. And it's killing dogs every year. Number 7. Milk and dairy. Every single dog owner has done this at least once. You are sitting on the couch eating ice cream. Your dog walks over, sits right in front of you, and just stares at you with those eyes. You cave. You give them a little lick off the spoon. They go crazy for it. Their tail is wagging. You feel like the best owner in the world. But while you are sitting there feeling good about yourself, something very different is happening inside your dog's body. Dogs are lactose intolerant, not some dogs, almost all dogs. When puppies are born, they produce an enzyme called lactase, which helps them digest their mother's milk. But as they grow older, their bodies stop producing that enzyme in any meaningful amount. So by the time your dog is an adult, their digestive system has almost no ability to break down lactose, the sugar found in every dairy product. When lactose enters a system that cannot process it, it sits in the gut and ferments. It draws water into the intestines. Gas builds up. Your dog gets bloated, crampy, and uncomfortable. Then comes the diarrhea, sometimes fast, sometimes after a few hours. Either way, your dog is in real pain, and they cannot tell you why. Here is what makes it especially deceptive. Your dog is never going to refuse the ice cream. They will love it and beg for more. Dogs chase flavor and richness, not what is safe for their stomach. The fact that they want it means absolutely nothing about whether it is hurting them. Milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, all of it falls under the same problem. People add cheese to their dog's food, thinking it makes meals more exciting. They give milk as a treat. Every single time dairy hits that gut, the result is the same: gas, bloating, cramps, and diarrhea. Your dog lives with that discomfort constantly while you have no idea. Cut dairy out completely. Your dog does not need it, and every time you give it to them, you are giving them pain they cannot explain. Number 6. Spiced and seasoned meat. This is the most deceptive food on this entire list because it looks like the healthiest thing you could give your dog. Meat. Real food. Protein. You cooked it yourself. Nothing processed about it. But everything you added to make it taste good is quietly working against your dog's body in ways that build up slowly and silently. Start with salt. It is in everything we cook, and most people dramatically underestimate how sensitive dogs are to sodium. A dog's kidneys are far smaller and less efficient than a human's at filtering it out. When your dog eats human-level salted food regularly, the sodium accumulates in their system. It pulls water out of cells. It puts pressure on the brain. Early signs are excessive thirst and urination, then lethargy. Then in serious cases, the brain swells and seizures follow. Because it builds so gradually, most owners never connect the seasoned food to the dog that keeps getting slower and sicker over time. Then there is garlic powder and onion powder. These are in nearly every spice blend, marinade, dry rub, and sauce ever made. They seem like such a tiny, harmless part of the meal, but for dogs they are toxic at the chemical level. The compounds in garlic and onion attack red blood cells directly. They break down the cell membrane, causing those cells to collapse and get removed from the bloodstream. The result is hemolytic anemia, where your dog's blood loses its ability to carry oxygen to muscles and organs. Your dog grows weak, breathless from minimal effort, and pale around the gums. Because this damage builds over weeks and months of regular exposure, most owners never suspect the seasoned chicken they share 3 times a week is what is slowly making their dog anemic. Plain cooked meat with zero seasoning is completely fine. The meat is never the problem. What you put on it is. Before you season anything, pull your dog's portion out first. That one habit protects them from everything in this section. Number 5. Bread and dough. Bread feels like the safest thing on this list. Soft, bland, no spices, no fat. People give it to their dogs constantly. to hide pills, as a quick treat, to use up the end pieces of the loaf. It seems completely harmless. A tiny occasional piece of plain baked bread is not a crisis, but that is never how it actually happens. People give it daily, in chunks, regularly, and over time it becomes a quiet source of real damage. Bread offers dogs nothing nutritionally, no usable protein, no essential fats, no vitamins or minerals their body needs. What it does give them is a blood sugar spike, followed by a crash and a steady flow of empty calories stored directly as fat. Dogs eating bread regularly gain weight fast. That extra weight presses on their joints, strains their heart, and takes years off their life. Obesity is one of the most common preventable problems vets see every day, and bread is one of the contributors owners never think to mention. But raw dough is where this goes from a slow problem to a genuine emergency. When a dog eats raw dough, the yeast does not stop fermenting just because it is inside a stomach now. The warm, moist environment of your dog's gut is actually ideal for the fermentation to keep going and speed up. The dough expands inside them. The bloating becomes severe and extremely painful. In serious cases, the pressure causes the stomach to twist on itself, cutting off blood supply to surrounding organs. This is called gastric dilatation volvulus, and it kills dogs that do not reach surgery in time. At the same time, fermentation produces ethanol, which enters the bloodstream and causes alcohol poisoning. The dog becomes disoriented, uncoordinated, and their breathing slows. If your dog eats raw dough, you do not wait and watch. You go to the vet immediately. Number 4. Cooked bones. This one hits people differently because giving a dog a bone is one of the most ancient and iconic things in the human and dog relationship. It feels natural, it feels loving, it feels like something people have done forever because they have. And that familiarity is exactly what makes it dangerous. People feel so confident about this one that they never question it for a single second. Here is what actually happens at a physical level. A raw bone has moisture and collagen running through its structure. That gives it flexibility. When a dog chews a raw bone in the wild, it compresses under pressure, wears down gradually from the outside, and does not break apart suddenly. That is what dogs evolved eating. Cooking destroys that structure completely. The heat removes all the moisture and breaks down the collagen. What is left is dry, rigid, and completely brittle. When your dog bites down on a cooked bone, it does not compress, it shatters. And it does not break cleanly. It fractures into sharp, jagged splinters with edges that slice through soft tissue. Those splinters cut the gums, travel down the throat, and move into the digestive tract. A single splinter puncturing the wall of the stomach or intestine causes internal bleeding that shows no visible signs on the outside. Your dog can seem completely normal for hours while bleeding internally. By the time real symptoms appear, the damage is already critical, and surgery is the only option. Chicken bones after dinner are where this happens most often because chicken is eaten so frequently and the bones feel too small to be dangerous. But chicken bones shatter into the sharpest, needle-like fragments of any bone type. Every cooked bone goes into a sealed bag and into the trash immediately, no exceptions, ever. Number 3. Fat trimmings. This one feels like the most natural, generous thing you can do. You trim the fat off your steak or pull the skin off chicken. Your dog is right there. Instead of throwing it away, you drop it in their bowl. It is real animal food straight from the meat. It feels like a gift. What it actually is a direct trigger for one of the most painful conditions your dog can experience. The pancreas is one of the most sensitive organs in your dog's body. It produces the digestive enzymes that break food down and regulates the insulin that controls blood sugar. It is a precise organ that functions within a very narrow range. When a large amount of fat hits the digestive system all at once, the pancreas gets an emergency signal to produce a massive enzyme response. That sudden overload causes the organ to inflame severely. This is pancreatitis. A dog in a pancreatitis episode cannot get comfortable. They stand hunched with their back arched because the abdominal pain never stops. They vomit repeatedly even when empty. They refuse all food and water. Their face shows real suffering. Severe cases need hospitalization, IV fluids, and days of pain medication just to stabilize them. What makes this even more important to understand is that some dogs are sensitive enough that one large piece of fat trimming triggers a full episode. And a dog that has had pancreatitis once is permanently more likely to get it again every time significant fat hits their system. Both raw and cooked fat cause this equally. It is not about preparation, it is about the fat load overwhelming the pancreas. The trimmings go in the trash every single time without exception. Number 2. Peanut butter with xylitol. Peanut butter was considered one of the most trusted foods in dog ownership for a long time. Vets recommended it, trainers used it, owners stuffed it in Kongs, spread it on lick mats, and used it to hide every pill their dog ever needed to take. It was completely trusted, and for years that trust was reasonable. Then manufacturers quietly changed the recipe. To reduce sugar and cut calories, many major peanut butter brands started replacing regular sugar with xylitol, an artificial sweetener that is completely safe for humans. The front of the jar looked identical. Nothing announced the change. But inside the formula became something that can kill a dog in under an hour. When a dog ingests xylitol, their pancreas reads it as a massive incoming surge of real sugar and releases a flood of insulin in response. But there is no actual sugar in the system, so blood glucose crashes violently and fast. This is hypoglycemia, and it moves quickly. Within 30 minutes, your dog can go from completely normal to trembling, unable to stand, seizing, and losing consciousness. On top of the blood sugar collapse, xylitol causes direct liver cell damage. Even if a dog survives the initial hypoglycemic emergency, the liver damage that follows can develop into full liver failure within 72 hours. For a small dog, just a few tablespoons of xylitol peanut butter is enough to cause this. That is one treat. One Kong, one spoonful to hide a pill. Go check the peanut butter in your house right now. Read every word of the ingredients. If xylitol is anywhere on that label, that jar never goes near your dog again. Number 1. Table scraps and leftovers. This is number 1 not because it is one specific food, but because it is the most common daily habit among dog owners everywhere in the world. And it silently delivers every single danger on this list into one bowl every single night. Here is how it goes. Dinner is done. There is food left over. Instead of storing it or throwing it away, you scrape it into your dog's bowl. They finish it in seconds. They look happy. You feel like a good owner. And then the exact same thing happens the next night, and every night after. Look at what is actually in those leftovers. Seasoned meat cooked with garlic powder and onion powder. Fat still attached to the pieces of meat. Bread or rice that soaked up salty seasoned cooking liquid. Sauces containing spices or sweeteners. Maybe a cooked bone mixed in. All of it hitting your dog's system together every single day, building on top of itself. Vets see the result of this constantly. The dog comes in chronically unwell with no obvious single cause. Overweight, dull coat, digestion always off, blood work showing organ stress that should not exist in a dog that age. And when asked what the dog eats, the owner describes the family dinner every night for the past 2 years. Your dog does not need variety the way you do. They do not get bored of consistent food. Their digestive system was built for routine. Feeding them quality dog food works with their biology. Feeding them unpredictable human meals every night works directly against it every single day. Keep your food on your plate. Feed your dog their food. If you want to give them something real, plain boiled chicken or plain cooked rice with nothing added is completely safe and genuinely good for them. That is the line. Everything else stays on your side of the table. Your dog cannot read a label. They cannot look something up. They cannot tell you their stomach hurts or that something you gave them made them feel wrong. They just eat whatever you put in front of them, and they trust you completely with every single meal. You now know more than 99% of dog owners out there. Use it. Share this with someone who has a dog, because most people are making these mistakes right now without knowing it, and their dog is paying the price every single day. Drop a comment and tell me which one shocked you the most. I read every single one. See you in the next one.